Hi, this is Jeanette from Happy Spots and Ink Spots, and today I'm going to show you my creative process when I'm making a card. This is actually something that a lot of people have requested that I do a video on. So this is just going to walk you through how I go about getting a card together. Most of the time I start off with a sketch. I'm on a couple of sketch design teams, so we get the sketches in advance. So I try to sort of match the sketches with the stamps that are coming out at that particular time. So I usually have it up on my iPad, and it's on my desk so I can refer to it. Then I'll choose my stamp. So in this case, I was doing some design team work for Scrapbook Central, so I knew I wanted to color up this image. And then I'll go and I'll pick my papers. So for this card, I got a bunch of really nice new papers from Pebbles. This is the Ever After line here, and it's double-sided. And then I pulled out this paper that I got, which I thought the colors were very similar. And this is American Crafts Confetti line. So these are the papers I'm going to be using. Then I'll pull the cardstock for the base of my card and the matting. And I usually try to pull one or two colors out of my paper for that. Then my next step is to go to my Copic color chart. And I'll match up the colors with my paper and my color chart, and then that will allow me to choose the markers I'm going to be using to color up my image. Now, it's not always set in stone. Sometimes I'll change up the colors. Sometimes I won't use all the paper that I've pulled out to use, but it gives you an idea of what I do. So here's the colored image that I colored up. And then the other thing I'm going to pull out before I start cutting papers is embellishments. And I'll go through my little boxes and I'll pull out ribbons. And again, I may not use all of them, but I like to pull them out. This I thought was a really good match for this paper here. The little polka dots. So I'll pull out ribbons to match and some flowers and some buttons, and I won't be using them all on my card, but I have them out. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut all my cardstock and my pattern paper into the various pieces I needed. Most of my cards are 5.5 by 5.5. So what I do is I take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and I cut it down so that it measures 5.5 by 11, and then I score it at 5.5. I almost always now, since I got it, have my score buddy on my table with me. It doesn't take up a lot of room, and I just find it really handy. So that's how I make my card base. Then I cut a mat that was 5.25 by 5.25, which is this sort of darker piece of cardstock, and then a pattern paper that's 1/8 of an inch smaller. So that's generally what I do. I never glue down everything until I'm really happy with how it looks. So I'm going to be looking at my sketch and just sort of placing all the different pieces of paper. So I cut down my pattern paper, and then I always have a mat that's about 1/8 larger around all sides. So now I'm just sort of placing my components down. For my image, I haven't glued that together or adhered it together because I haven't decided whether I'm going to airbrush it or stitch it or sponge it. I usually decide that sort of at the last minute. So I'm going to put this down. Then I decide, out of the ribbons that I have, I decide which ones I'm going to be using. I pulled out that one, but you can't see. I'll just turn this around so you can see. The reason I pulled it out was because it matched that polka dot there, so I'll just pull that out. So that looks nice. I think I might go ahead and put a piece of lace down first, and then I'll have this, and then this. Yeah, so I kind of like how that looks. I don't think I'll be using this piece because it kind of disappears into the card. And then I just have to decide if I'm putting flowers on this or if I'm going to put a button. And I think I'm going to go with the buttons. I may try to pull out another big one to put down here. And basically that's it. That's how I go about making a card. I'm probably going to stitch this and sponge it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Once that's done, I'm going to adhere everything. I always tuck my ribbon, adhere them underneath this mat here, and then put the whole thing down. So that's my card making process, and I will have this card completed and ready, a picture of it on my blog when I post this video. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope this was useful to you. I'm just going to zoom in on the card a little bit for you. So that's how I go about it. Thanks a lot. Bye.